Yo, let's get the business.
Yo, let's get the business. I'm back at you. We back again. Talk heavy. I'm here to talk some sports with you all for fun. As a fan, of course, and respectfully, you know what I mean? So, let's dive into it one time, man. First of all, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and press that subscribe button. Hit the like button for me. You feel me? Doesn't hurt you anything, won't cost you anything. You dig what I'm saying? Yo, let's get the business. And check out my previous episodes of the Let's Get the Business podcast. I got a few more coming up and more in store. And I have 30 previous episodes of those things. So tap in with me, tap into the clothing company. Get you a cool t-shirt. Customize your own design. Get your things stitched up and embroidered. Get your situation right. Professional quality. But let's get the business. Let's start with some BBN basketball. The Kentucky Wildcats. They was trying to bounce back tonight from a few losses that they had. They lost one to Alabama. They lost another one to Vanderbilt with that weird court where the bench is like lower than the court. It's kind of strange down there. But, they got us on one. I think that the young guard for Vanderbilt or whatever, I think he gave Lamont Butler some fits, but Lamont Butler was out on this one. Kentucky versus number 8 Tennessee. We was ranked number 12, Kentucky 8, down there in old Rocky Top. Shout out to Rick Barnes and company. They've had a pretty solid season, as expected. It's developed into a pretty big rivalry throughout the years. We play. Hey, Kentucky came to play. Played pretty well in the first half. Jackson Robinson, he was very poised. He was making excellent decisions with the ball. He was under control. Nice screen action going on with him. He was playing very early, very confidently, stepping into his shots with confidence. And actually had to play point guard tonight because, Lamont Butler was out with some type of injury. I didn't look into the further details going on with that. But, Owe, he could also get UK into their offense if need be. Basically get them into their sets early. He doesn't do a lot of huge ball handling, but he can get them into their set. Owe had another double figure game in this one, which he's scored in double figures every single game. So shout out to Otega Owe. He's been a brilliant addition to the Kentucky Wildcats roster. I feel like he's got the bounce and the athleticism that was needed. He was that piece. ZEIGLER, he came out cold for Tennessee. We did pretty well on him as far as limiting his easy buckets and penetration, as well as Chaz Lanier. And what I say about we is, BBN. CATS. That's the side I'm on this one. But as well as Chaz Lanier early, who's a consistent scorer for the Tennessee Volunteers. But he picked it up in the second half for sure. Colin Chandler came out with some solid minutes off the bench. Like I said, we was without Lamont Butler, but we also been without Kurt Kriisa. And also we've been without Andrew Carr, which he popped into this game and didn't do much. We didn't see much of him, maybe like a minute or two. He looked a little off rhythm, a little off balance at times. But I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's definitely injured. He's got some back issues going on with him. So, but what has transpired up to this point with Andrew Carr, he's been a much needed asset. And he's been a big reason why we have the good record and the good standings that Kentucky does right now. So coming down the court and, Colin Chandler actually made a terrific pass, man, to Almanor on the wing for a spot-up triple. That was a big play that stood out to me with Colin Chandler. And he actually made a big defensive play, too. So shout out to Chandler, man. It's not all about getting big buckets. Sometimes you can contribute in different ways, and that's what he done. And we don't need him to do very much when he comes in there. So, yo, let's get the business. Mark Pope, man, he made a late game decision to try to play Carr. It didn't work, so he went out quick. Trevor Noah got some minutes. Mr. Hometown Kentucky from Harlan, Kentucky. Ah, that Kentucky boy. Them country boys is on the ride. But Travis Perry got some minutes. He's also from Kentucky. He didn't get as much minutes as Noah in this one, but I noticed that Noah got a big steal in the second half, which led to a Jackson Robinson 3 from the wing after that nasty hezzy, that head fake, and that pump fake that he gives the defenders quite often. Noah's also had a big triple from the top of the key. And he had a big bucket whenever there was a play that kind of broke up loosely, and he ended up with the loose ball and then taking it to the rack for the easy layup. And it doesn't sound as big, but it's huge, especially in big matchups like this, because it was one of those conference showdowns in old Rocky Top. They always give us, a run for the money. I'm not going to hold you. Tennessee's a good basketball team, but they also struggle from the three, and that's an area where Kentucky excels at. So that was one of the factors to play the key. Tennessee, they struggle from the three again. They went 4 for 22 from behind the arc against Auburn in their previous matchup. So we hit them with a little zone earlier, and that was effective on them. Ansley Almanor, he's really been striking that three ball. He hit a few again in clutch moments, and we shared the ball well, spacing the floor. The Kentucky Wildcats, running that 4-and-1, running the 5 out, spacing the floor, sharing the ball terrifically. A tremendous amount of ball movement. The big story coming in is that the Wildcats, can they guard the ball, though? And that's basically at old Rocky Top, taking the athletes and the strong and bouncy type of players that they're assembled with. Can they rebound? Can they limit transition buckets, out in the open court? Because that's how Tennessee likes to play with Gainey, ZAKAI, ZEIGLER, Milicic Jr., Chaz Lanier, Dubar, Meshack, and a few others until Lanier, though, he's a premier scorer for Tennessee. He got the ball rolling. He got it popping in the second half. I'm not gonna hold you. He started to really light it up and find his open spots, and the bucket started getting a little bigger for him. Zeigler, he looked like he hopped off the court, got injured, basically ran to the locker room himself. Nobody really knew what the situation was. To me, from my perspective, it looked like a hyperextended kind of knee thing, and he's known to have some issues previously with his knee, but he ended up returning to the game and having to guard a taller Jackson Robinson again, which Robinson gave him some fits. He gave him some issues with his size, being able to just get his shot off way easier with Zeigler being much shorter than him, and Robinson getting in his bag with again. So, whoa, CATS. Cast. Yo, but Ziegler's actually quicker though, so basically it was size versus speed. And shout out to Kobe Bryant, because I talked about it before the game even came on. He caught fire. He did what he needed to do. He stepped up at the right amount, the right time, and the right limit, the right levels that he needed to reach his game at tonight. He done it. And they needed that from him. They needed heavy production, with the Cats being shorthanded, AMARI Williams being the double monster, the beast down there, and the workforce, the work machine. He could do so much. But I like how Brea got it in different ways. Instead of just limiting his game as a jump shooter, he's also a great defender, and he also can get it on the bounce. He showed today. He got in his bag a little bit deeper as far as on the offensive end. Not only can he stroke the triple, but like I said, off the drive, off the bounce, making it easier on himself and taking what the defense gives him or taking it from the defense. Disrespectfully. So, He's been consistent too. I'm not gonna hold you with that. Amari Williams been very consistent. He can even handle the ball some, and being a great passer in the middle of that offense, being the decision maker when he holds the ball right there at the free throw line, waiting for the cutters and the swingers to come around the picks and the screens and dive into the hole and dart into the hole. What a wild and exciting game to watch. It was scrappy back and forth down an old Rocky Top. A lot of closing out against shooters, a high competitive conference showdown. And that's what we like to see. Yes. For you true basketball lovers, man, true, real college basketball is here. And it just feels great. You can feel it in the atmosphere. But such a passion and positive strategic coaching ability from Mark Pope. There's hope in Pope, building a culture of togetherness, love, and toughness. And we love to see this. The Capital One Performance Award went to Jackson Robinson. He had 17 with 4 3-pointers, had about 4 rebounds. Yo, the Cats take this one, man. It's the 6th big win over top opponents. A big W down in Knoxville, 78-63. It handed Tennessee their first loss of the season. Spreading out the score again, Robinson had 17. Williams had 10 to my understanding. Brea had 18. Away, he had 14. Almanar had 12. Of course, with some clutch jumpers and some poised play from him. Yo, and then we got a big one coming up. Who we got coming to town? We got the Mo Dirty Hogs coming to town. And you know what the anticipation is building up on this one. A lot of people is like, the excitement is building up on this because old John Cal, the guy that spent 15 years at Kentucky. And let me go back to this. Kentucky actually knocking down Tennessee, giving them their first loss at home of the season, the first home loss. So that's a fun fact that stands out. But yeah, we got John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks coming to Rupp Arena for the next SEC matchup. And let me tell you, Mr. Chicken is going to be in the building. How does everybody feel about it? Of course, I definitely want to hear y'all's predictions, but what about the excitement? What about the build-up? The media is going to be crazy on this one. The Razorbacks, I think they're coming off another deficit, another loss. I believe they are 1-6 in SEC play, to my understanding. Don't quote me on that, but I know they have one victory. And Boogie Flan, their starting point guard, is actually out for the season with a wrist injury that he just undergoes surgery to. So this is, it's going to be so exciting, man. I seen where the ticket sales is going up and up. It's going to be a fun show now to watch. You know how I feel about it. I feel like we're going to come out with the W some kind of way. Of course, there's going to be some excitement, some jitters built up. But not too many concerns. Yo, but on to more basketball. Trey Johnson had 30 points as Texas knocked down the Texas A&M 70-69 in the nail biter. Taylor for A&M had 15 points in an all-out effort to prevail, but they came up a little empty. Duke versus Wake Forest. Number 2, Duke had in control of the game at first on the road against Wake Forest. They seem to be in full control early, running that spread offense. The perimeter tear down, drive, draw, and dish. Such an exciting game for it to be such a low-scoring game. It was tied 39 apiece with 11-something to go in the second half, and then taking the lead after a few free throws. Wake Forest made big plays, but Cooper Flagg was still getting his buckets. The fight back was real, and Cooper Flagg has been the big talk for this year, man. They talk about how such a big prospect he is and how he's basically looked at to be the lead runner for the Player of the Year award. How do you feel about him, man? Cooper has been getting buckets. Tyrese Proctor had a big 3 down the stretch to seal the deal for the Blue Devils. It was a close game, but they got the win. And in between all this, man, you know, I like to throw something in there in between. I see there's a lot going on out here in this world. There's a lot of changes being made. There's a lot of concerns, a lot of rapid changes. You know, the world is changing. And I know people can become a lot of uptight. But I just want to say, stay focused. Don't get discouraged. Stay locked in. Stay focused. Drink your water. Take care of yourself. Get your rest. Stay mentally strong. And stay prepared for anything. But definitely don't get discouraged because you're not alone. Because I feel like some of this programming has a lot to do with trying to bring us against each other, bring people against each other. Nah, stick together. Keep the love in it. And let's get to business. It's number 7, Houston versus Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Houston wins 92-86. What an exciting game in old Rockjaw Jayhawk country. I caught some of this one. I caught the end of this game. Hunter Dickinson. We got Harris at the point guard for Kansas. Bill Self, the highest paying college basketball coach, the smooth veteran. J.K. Adams Jr. was out for this one, which he's a phenomenal athlete that plays for Kansas. I noticed that he can jump out of the gym. But wow, what a barn burner. This game was, it was a lock. It's 66-60, right? Kansas had the lead, but then a few turnovers, some costly turnovers led Houston, and they crept right back into it to tie this thing up 66-66. Overtime and OT, Kansas came up again and lost the lead. Zeke Mayo gets the inbound. He tried to pass the ball to Hunter Dickinson, the top player for Kansas. It may have been Jawan Roberts that came up with the theft in that full-court trap that they set up, but they gave the Kansas Jayhawks some fits, and they coughed the ball up. Floyd Baduga. Yeah, that's it. I think I landed that one. Be patient with me. But yeah, I feel like he fouled out early in the second OT, which was crucial for Kansas interior play because he was big in the interior the whole game, basically. Emmanuel Sharp nails a huge triple for Houston deep in Cushams. Houston's tough, man. Let me tell you, I don't know why people don't talk about Houston more, but with Roberts, Wilson, they're very mentally and physically tough, very athletic. They can shoot. They can play super poised, mature, make good decisions. They're confident, collective. Throughout the years, they've developed a stable culture in Houston with multiple trips to the tournament and deep in the tournament. Kelvin Sampson, he's done an awesome and remarkable job. He's been there for over 10 years, to my understanding. His players, and he's brought his players in, and they brings good energy. He brings good vibes to the culture of Houston, tournaments and Final Four appearances. Kansas missed clutch free throws too down the stretch. Houston was able to knock theirs down. I don't believe Dickinson got one bucket down in the stretch of the OT. I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that one. I'm not major on the stats. You know what I mean? And I don't watch every game, every full game. You know what I mean? But there's a fun detail to point out that I don't believe Dickinson got a bucket. And he's supposed to be the big-time player. So, step your game up, Dickinson. Those are the times where we really need you to get a bucket. Now, he may not have got touches. He may not have got the touch because it's not him dribbling the ball down the court. But I know there's big paper, there's big chicken behind Dickinson. So, but let's get to business. Houston steals the W in the Allen Fieldhouse. Like I said, 92-86, winning 12 in a row, 17th in a row in the Big 12. Roberts had 24 and 9. Dickinson did have 17. But like I said, down the stretch, that's when it really matters. Florida got their 12th straight win over Georgia. Number 3, Iowa State beat Ohio State 76-61, led by Curtis Jones, who scored a career-high 33 points. He was the most, definitely getting busy. Mississippi State beat South Carolina 65-60 in overtime. But let's get to business with this. college hoops has been going crazy. It's been going phenomenal. I've been love watching it. Yo. What else is there going on in the world of sports? The X Games, snowboarding, Aspen Games in Aspen, Colorado. Hiroto Igawara, 2025 Big Air gold medalist. He actually fractured his wrist, but still pulled off a 2340 as the rookie with a broken arm that day. But his level of skills, balanced on the air tricks, it was just super sick and remarkable to watch. It was my first time, really, not my first time, but I don't really check it out often. With the Red Bull sponsored helmet and snowboard, 6.5 360 spins in the air, just watching all these crazy flips and nasty just pull arounds and twists and turns. It looked like such a adrenaline rush for him. And he was all smiles, cheesing big the whole time, having a tremendous amount of fun and enjoyment out there on that snow. Khloe Kim took home another gold medalist with her phenomenal skills and her talent. She is now tied at 8 gold medals with Shaun White, the legend snowboarder that most people are familiar with. Scotty James and Kelly White each have 7 gold medals apiece. Khloe Kim is 24 years of age. She's extremely skilled. She's actually fell down to her victory flip. When they take the victory flip after they win, she actually fell down on hers, and you got some whoos and ahs from the crowd like, yo, is she straight? Is she cool? But nah, she was fine. She popped up and jumped up smiling, you know what I mean? Her opponent had failed before that previously on the flip that was actually part of the competition, which was it sold it up basically, and it sealed the deal for Khloe Kim to win another one. So shout out to that, man. That takes a tremendous amount of just balance, poise, guts, confidence. Man, yo, that's a one-of-a-kind sport, snowboarding. But off to some NFL playoffs. The Eagles versus the Commanders. Fly, Eagles, fly. The Eagles are headed to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Yo, the most points ever scored in the championship game, to my understanding. 55-23. Yo, costly turnovers and penalties for the Commanders. That's what I feel it was big and major in this one. They even went off sides like 4 times in a row. One fumble by Eckler. It may have already been down due to his knee touching the ground. When I looked at the replay, I'm like, yo, he's down. But then he tried to get back up and get extra yardage, which, is at that point, it was desperate need for some scores. And he ended up coughing up the ball after he got back up. One fumble and special teams before that. It was 34-23 after the Eckler fumble. From there, it was just an all-out blowout. To sum it up, in a nutshell, they got busy and got with him. Ended up 55-23. What a smash. And Saquon Barkley ran like absolute nuts, like he'd been all season long. Basically, he was just 15 for $180, averaging about like 8 yards per carry with 3 big explosive touchdowns. Jalen Hurts went 20 for 28, around 250. Had a brilliant game. He played with tremendous poise and confidence, 0 turnovers. What a major transformation when Barkley was at the New York Giants, though, and came over to the Philadelphia Eagles. First, what an addition for the Eagles, and what a big transformation for Saquon Barkley's career, because people weren't talking about Saquon Barkley like this last year, even though he was still a premier running back. Yo, look at the big change, and look what it brought out of him. You know what I mean? And that comes to show that the environments, the systems, the personnel that you surround yourself with does matter. It can make a tremendous amount of difference. I feel like Brown, the receiver for Philly, and Devontae Adams, they were spectacular throughout the season. and even leading to the Super Bowl. The Commanders turned the ball over. The Eagles turned it into points. Simple as that. Even the rookie running back came out, Clemson, Will Shipley, got him a big run. And then the short yardage TD took one to the short barn and broke for that one. 462 offensive yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most all-time in postseason game. The Chicago Bears did it back in 1940 championship against Washington. Jeffrey LaRue, the Eagles chairman and CEO, he was thrilled and lit. They talked about him talked to him after following the game, and he was stoked. Shout out to the head coach, Nick Sirianni, Nick Sirianni, first head coach to lead the Eagles to 2 different Super Bowls and NFC champions. Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs. This was a big one. That was back at Arrowhead Stadium. And you know what the speculation and the legend is. They're like, here's the Chiefs again in the playoffs again, which the Eagles is in the Super Bowl again. But back to this. I'm not going to hold you. You know how people be when it comes to the Chiefs. Here it goes. They're going to start cheating for old Patty Mahomes again. They got the referee in their pockets. You know what I mean? That's how people be talking. They're like, yo, you know what's going to happen. He's going to get a call or a penalty. And I'm not saying that it's cheating, but there is some truth behind, the destination and the history of the turnouts, how the game turned out down the stretch. A lot of times it is in the Chiefs' favor. To me, that's just football, because I'm an old football guy. And it's the game of inches. So I can't blame it on the refs. But this is how you hear people talking on Twitter and this and that and the third, you know what I mean? And even when it comes to people's parlays and FanDuel bets, they're like, you better be careful because this amount may not go this way. Because old Patty Mahomes is in here. Patrick Mahomes. But shout out to Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's just an excellent quarterback. But the Chiefs had early success running the ball in this one against the Bills. Hunt scored a touchdown and seeing early good signs of success with the run game. Juju Smith, he caught a big play for 31 yards. It was 7-3 when the Chiefs coughed the ball up. Mahomes dropped it back and coughed it up and got clobbered in the backfield, losing the ball. But they ended up getting back into it. Cook looked fresh for Buffalo early on in the open field with his speed and elusiveness and his mobility and agility. Amari Cooper with a big catch on third down gave him a big first down. Somewhat lack of awareness, but from Josh Allen a little bit early, but he came up clutch to score to make it 10-7 in the second quarter. But to me, I don't feel like he was playing that solid early. The Chiefs came fighting back. Mahomes started getting the ball downfield, 5 for 5, perfect on the drive. And the speed demon Worthy took off with a massive production and extreme explosive plays, making people miss with his speed and then basically scoring with ease. Buffalo defense had no answer for this new talent. They jumped up 14-10 after he was getting busy. Worthy. Both teams were undefeated at home this season. That's a fun fact. Christian Benford for Buffalo went out for the ball game with a concussion. Yo, this was a crazy game. Football, NFL playoff football is here. Mahomes looked fresh on the run as he ran one in, showing his speed again and his fast decision making. He came a long way from that broken leg that he played with a few years back. He still got the speed though. Josh Allen, on the other hand, he seemed flustered to me, like I said, bothered by the Kansas City deadly passion rush. That's hard to deal with. He still managed to put together some good drives. One drive that lasted for a while, and in the half, receivers catching, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, and then he threw for a big one to Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins was drafted in 2017 and was a part of the championship squad. Yo, Buffalo, Buffalo's a good football team, yeah, but from my perspective, they got away from the running game a little bit, which was giving them some success early. Just execution coming from the run game. It started lacking, and they started calling a lot of play calls in the passing game, which is fine. But if you look at what transpired ahead, what got you here? Keep a nice balance, you know what I mean? But the Chiefs come off with the victory somehow, some way again. 32-29. Tennessee women's basketball. The Tennessee Volunteers versus the South Carolina Gamecocks. The defending championships and old Rocky Top too. Like I said, South Carolina is the defending champs with Coach Staley in the building. They're dangerous again this year. Tennessee struggled from the field, not so good from the field, percentage-wise. The struggle was real. They usually hit about 11 triples per contest, but they were 2 for 22 from the three at the 2-minute mark to go in the third quarter. Tennessee came back from a large deficit, as many as 18, I believe. I'm not going to hold you. It may have been even more than that, but I believe it was right at 18. The women's South Carolina Gamecocks, they sealed the deal down the stretch, though. South Carolina at 21-1 this season, the defending champions. They set a record for the consecutive straight conference wins, and SEC at 55 straight wins. What a culture, what a dynamic team, and what a squad again that Staley has produced. And there's a lot to talk about with this, because you're talking about a true champion. They may get back there again this year. So shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks. But there's so much to cover. Just make sure you stay focused and stay locked in with me. And like I said, don't get knocked off balance. Don't get tricked out of your position. You dig what I'm saying? Stay cool, calm, and collective. Keep them good, positive vibes going your way. And keep a good heart behind what you're doing. Until next time, talk heavy. Get your situation right. Let's get the business.
Yo, let's get the